about this? Because I know you said you had an alternate spin to this, or an alternate take on this. 24-year-old guy scored a $800,000. He won $800,000 through sports bets, but the casinos are refusing to pay him the cash. He is from Chicago. He is under fire. I'm reading from the U.S. Sun here. The Chicago man under fire for the sneaky methods he used while playing may be pushed to sue the gambling dens. Name is Thomas McPeak. He's from suburban Chicago, avid gambler, sports fan, lives with his parents, got a basement full of memorabilia from his favorite teams, the Cubs and the Bears. We all know that guy. He decided to start betting on sports, read stacks of books about it. And he said about this, he says, quote, "It was a calculated attack where I thought I had an edge." He made countless sports bets, including complex, this is what they say in the article, complex wagers known as parlays. Multiple wagers tied into the same bet with several events needing to take place for the gambler to win. Okay. So he traveled to different states to place his bets. He visited the sportsbook at the Horseshoe Casino in Hammond, Indiana, 25 miles from downtown Chicago. This is last August. He brought in roughly $30,000 to bet over the course of around a week, with his winnings totaling $350,000. Then he visited the Isle Casino in Bettendorf, Iowa, 175 miles from Chicago, the following month, also owned by Caesars. He went in with around $20,000 from his bank account. He says, quote, "I sat at the kiosk for 4 hours just punching in my bets. Bet after bet after bet after bet after bet," he said. I love this. While the Chicago man and the other experienced gamblers believe they can gain an edge, it's not easy. He says, "It's not like I can just snap my fingers and just make the bets win. They still have to win." Now, while the majority of his tickets were not winners, a number of them did win big, up to, again, $800,000. The Horseshoe Casino that we mentioned will not give him his $350,000 when he showed up in October. Caesars voided the tickets, referred him to the house rules. Similarly, Isle Casino in Iowa turned him away when he returned to collect approximately $450,000 from his winning tickets. He was handed a printout outlining that he was structuring and doing anti-money laundering. They gave him their policy on structuring, which is structuring is the gambling word for structuring your bets to get around certain legal.
$10,000.
What's that?
$10,000.
$10,000. That's right.
He went way over it at the kiosk.
And he by jamming the kiosk, some would say from going from state to state, he's circumventing. So they gave him all of the rules, and now he is not very happy about it. He says, by the way, "I'll switch up the disguise, sunglasses, I'll hide my hair in my hat, I'll put it in a bun." That's how he has maintained his anonymity and keeping a low profile. So anyway, there's your story. He knows what he's doing. He knows that he is circumventing. Your take is what?
Going to be interesting, because I am, 99.5, speaking of that number, on the player's side. Not that I'm not on his side in the end here, but don't play stupid, kid. You knew what you were doing here too. You're live at home with your parents. You're saying you're presenting a case to the media of a one side thing here. I've dealt with people like you before. I've dealt with people that go to the kiosk and circumvent. I guess circumvent. Now I don't have By the way, not trying to say I have a problem with betting at the kiosk and not letting the sportsbook know what I'm doing. I have been guilty of that myself, but not to the tune of $800,000. I mean, come on, kid. Give me a break. You want to win something, win 30 or 40,000. And, FanDuel, Blue Chip Gaming, they paid him. So they paid him. So he's not just betting 30,000. He's betting a lot of money on these things. Playing it, like I said, the kiosk, rather than go to the counter where you can get down a larger wager, but they would limit you or stop you. We're only getting his side of the story here. And the media is only they don't know any better. They don't gamble. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what parlays are. The media is only going to present his side of the story. I would love for someone from the Caesars side to actually really tell us what this kid was doing and his group was doing. A 24-year-old kid lives home with his parents is not betting casually $70,000. That's what I'm reading here, 30, 20, and 20 on just, something. Now, we don't know either I seen some of the pictures in the video of the tickets. He was betting some of the bigger name teams, which I was surprised. He's not betting little schools like Maine or nothing. He was betting some of the bigger name schools. We don't know this side. We don't know if UCLA was getting 7 and the actual line was them giving 7. Now, I worked with a group 20 years ago that almost got me in so much trouble because they bet I remember who it was, but back then it was the Washington Redskins. I remember like it was yesterday. The Redskins were getting 7 points and they were supposed to be giving 7 points. So now these geniuses that I'm working with, they don't realize what they're doing is cheating. They decide to parlay and round robin everything because you can, being that much of an edge, the parlay, the enhancer is so much more of an edge to bet it with any random teams in the NFL. Almost got me in trouble and got them thrown in the trunk. So anyway,
but that's different. That's an obvious mistake.
Well, and don't think that this is not something to do with that. I'm not saying it is.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there that it could be. Now, according to the story, Caesars did one giant thing wrong. They free rolled him. They didn't cancel anything until the bet was over. Until it was over. They voided wagers after they won. That is terrible. So. Listen, but he got very greedy. Instead of winning, like I said, 40, 50,000, you want to win 800,000. Went for the kill. Listen, I had it happen to me at Bally's in Atlantic City when FanDuel came to the country, and Bally's had FanDuel. I was at the kiosk, and a supervisor came out and said, "Hey, you're betting the kiosk. You can't bet more than $2,000, or I'm canceling every one of those." So this kid's betting $90 parlays, $50 parlays, $100 parlays repeatedly. They should have auto-moving software. There's sports books that have auto-moving software that moves instantly.
Let me chime in, because there's so many things that come to mind here. One is, the reason that this is always a controversy is because no jurisdiction and no sports book, right? There's the sports books and then there's the regulation of that particular state. There's no consistency, right? So we know Doug won $300,000
on something that was wrong,
on something that he knew was wrong, that he knew he was circumventing the limits for, right?
Yes.
Safety versus cornerback on the NFL draft.
Correct.
Jamming the kiosks, but the way that the MGM language was in their rules, he was able to get paid because their rules stated something. I can't remember the exact wordage of it, but he was in the clear because their rules did not specifically say that was wrong, or once the ticket was printed, I can't remember what it was, but essentially their language was such that he was able to get paid. So he was really fortunate that it was at this one place. What you're saying is I'll take the other side, right? The other side would say, yeah, but they printed the tickets, right? And it's going to be like, remember Chrissy had this thing with golf once at Cal Neva, where somebody posted, they left up by accident the final round of a golf tournament. And so somebody who wasn't in the lead took the lead. Somebody came in and bet it. It was obviously a past post. He knew what was going on. And Cal Neva, or I think it was Cal Neva, refused to pay the bettor. And guess what? Nevada Gaming sided with the bettor.
Wow.
Because, hey, you printed the ticket.
Good to know.
You did it. So what I'm saying is, every state handles these things differently. And so that's why it's always a controversy, because you never know which wording, which casino, which state is going to override the other thing. So that's why, it's fascinating. We'll talk more about this on the other side. Bill Krackomberger, Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is from, let's see. Xavier82, Jacob. Good morning, gentlemen. Just started to watch the show now, and I was wondering, have you discussed, Gil, the new 5K entry Survivor competition that Westgate announced yesterday? Have a great day and show. I have not, because I didn't know about it.
Brand new. I did my podcast yesterday from there, and I learned about they're having a 5K. Actually, Jeff Sherman was on VSiN and announced it. They're doing a 5K Survivor. They're doing the contest, which was 1,000, I believe now it's 1,500, and the Superbook contest. And there's also a couple of $500 contest in college football, 7 games a week. I think that's going to be big. We don't have one of them in town, so they're they know that Circa's been so successful with theirs, so now they're doing a $5,000 one. Very, very good. I would
Competition is a good thing, isn't it?
It's a good thing for everyone.
Forces innovation. Buddhist man trivia alt answer to the Joe Pita thing with the horse ownership in the Derby. Didn't Chris Valica own a small piece of the horse that Kirk Herbstreit was involved with a few years back? Oh, I don't know if he was. Also, if Brian Ortega's parents are swinging by from Arizona to pick him up on the way to Kentucky, this has to be a private jet situation, right? Swinging by was my term. I don't know if it was a private jet situation. Let's see. This is from Chris Heath. 4 hours at the kiosk, talking about the story we were just talking about, the kid who won $800,000 but isn't getting paid. Chris Heath, 4 hours at the kiosk. What if I want to make a quick live bet on college basketball?
How can he not know 4 hours? I didn't even think about that. 4 hours at a kiosk. You're stuffing in $30,000 cash. How can you not know, kid, that $10,000, over $10,000, it's a federal offense structuring for you to be putting that much money in a kiosk.
Can structure. Yep.
Eric
Pinnell. Guy should show up dressed as Krackman as Kangol. LOL. Hashtag HTTR.
Right.
Let's go Skins. You're right. Vegas regular. Caesars also signed his ticket acknowledging it.
He's right. I forgot about that. The kid had situations where I think it was between 3 and 7 different tickets that didn't come out of the machine that he bet. He took it to the counter and said, hey, it didn't print my parlay. And the supervisor said, okay, I could see it here. Here's your 3 parlays. And they signed his name. This is your parlays, and I'm the supervisor, and these are your parlays you have, and printed them out for him. And so he's right about that. He did. Listen.
So wait, so Caesars knew that this was happening. They knew that he had all these tickets.
He probably went there, pretty stupid, and said, I just bet a parlay, and it didn't work. A parlay or a couple parlays. Right. And so, he knew what he was doing, though. But bottom line, though, guys, just to let you guys know, I live by the old adage: you book a bet, you pay a bet. They should pay. They're not going to pay.
Yeah. Where were you when I had my thing?
Yeah.
What happened to the book a bet, pay a bet thing when I was doing my thing?
They're not going to pay this.
No, they're not.
I just want to tell you,
it's
not Nevada gaming. Gil, you mentioned something earlier about someone stuck up with someone won here a case and the gaming board stuck up for the player.
Oh yeah, the golf thing.
The golf thing. Yeah. Well, here you have gaming boards that are pretty new to sports betting. And they're just going, here's our bylaws. They could have just printed new ones in the back room for all they know. I'm not saying they did, but they're not going to pay. This is going to be a bad look for Caesars, but you and I both have history with this company throwing us out or limiting the peanuts. But in the end, I think they should pay them. Just another thing. By the way, this hit all different press things on Twitter and Instagram, and this is a bad look for Caesars.
Richard Munchkin was tweeting about it.
Yeah, it's a bad look, but I just wanted to present both sides. That this is just not them robbing him totally. I presented both sides, but in the end, I live by that adage, and they should pay him, but they're not gonna. He's not getting paid. So him and his group will have to figure something out next time. Maybe don't go over the $10,000 mark and
he was
come in with a fake beard and mustache.
Yeah, he fake beard, mustache, cross state lines, jamming kiosks. I mean, it was like the who's who of circumvention.
Yeah, but listen, I understand why you would want to listen. I am guilty of betting overnight round robins by 2 and 3 on college basketball, which I knew, let's say +3. Tomorrow they're going to be +1. So I know they're going to move. The reason why we do that is because if we bet the game straight for their max bet of $500, they're going to move it a point, especially if Bill Krackomberger comes to the counter and does that. But if you're betting in parlays, the people in risk think, well, who is this? Who's betting the $80 parlay? And they're just suckers. No big deal. And you're betting round robins, and usually parlay bettors are sucker bettors. So that's the reason why you circumvent. You're getting more down betting overnights or even during the day of the game, especially if one of the lines are wrong. Now, we had reputations, you and I. We can't just bet something that's, +7. It should be -7.
Right.
So, we don't want to be part of that.
And we would not do that.
Yeah. Well, let me be honest before you say that. Yeah, I'm going to do that to certain books in this town. Yes,
but you know the consequences. You're not going to get paid.
I'm already thrown out for them cheating. Yeah. So I have no problem cheating you back. So,
but the point that I'm trying to make about all this though is there is no blanket, there is no blanket wording on any of this. Again, there's not a universal way to to adjudicate this. And so that's where the confusion lies. Bert Wiedemeyer, by the way, broken down valise, knock around guys. Come on, kid. It's like a quick tutorial in Brooklynese with all these phrases. In regards to this kid with the kiosk, yeah, he was cute, but you got to give him an A for effort. The books need to get wiser so they can avoid it in the future. Totally driven golf, though. Listen to this. He says, hey, Elihu Feustel, who, by the way, should be in everybody's sports betting Hall of Fame. I don't know why he's not. Elihu Feustel said the other night that Caesars is about 90% on the wrong side of Indiana common law in this case because the tickets were not voided until after they won. Basic free roll.
Yeah, no, I seen him on that show, the news program from Chicago. He was on there presenting that side of the case. There was a person from this town that presented the other side. And again, in the end, I think he should be paid. But it's not all what it seems like, what the news portrays it to be. They're only saying his side of the story. I wish Caesars would come out just a little bit and say their side to show what they're up against too.
Yeah. See, again, and this, the free rolling thing, and everybody's cases is different. I don't want to keep bringing this up, but in the French Open case of 2020, the details of that were different. So again, not getting into the details necessarily because, again, I have my position, they have theirs. But there was a free roll element to that as well, right? The book, right, in these situations, they don't go around, like in my situation, it was like, what about the people who lost? Did the books refund those people? No, they don't contact people to refund them. So it's basically a free roll situation. And it's like if everything is a one-way traffic on that, based on situation. You brought up a great point about this guy. He took it to the media, you said off air. And so these casinos will also draw a line in their sand on specific cases. We're like, oh, we don't like this guy gets taken to the media, right? I can relate to that. Sure. So they make it a point. We're not going to pay this guy his $800,000. There's no chance we're going to do it now that it's out there, right? And I don't know that that's the good long-term view for them to take.
How are you supposed to go to a jury of your peers anyway? Go to a jury or go to a court and a judge who doesn't even know what 11 to 10 means is going to side with you, the player?
Yeah.
No way. You're not beating Congress. You're not beating this giant corporation just sitting there with a even if you have a slick-tongued lawyer with you that tries to help out the situation. I don't think you're getting paid at all. Maybe you reach out to Sergian in town here, a great gaming lawyer, if he'd even take the case.
Keno Walker, no matter how you word it out, a settled bet is a settled bet. That's universal language. It's a learning curve for both parties, but the bettor shouldn't have to eat the bullet. Scott C., question for Bill. Is part of being an advantage player / pro bettor knowing how to have a business-like relationship with your outs and casinos? Is that where the kid went wrong?
Well, yeah, he's not, listen, he's not going to have that kind of relationship with a casino because he's probably been even warned before situationally, and but yes, you have to schmooze and you have to talk to. Listen, I went over to South Point and Chris Andrews, and I know I was allowed to bet a certain amount. I'll just tell you, I was allowed to bet 5,000 on futures in football, and I was betting over under season wins, and I think I swept them too. I really beat them up this past 2 years. And Chris, thank you for giving me those five. But I think they give anyone the walk up 5,000. So I went over there for baseball and I asked for $5,000 on. I think it was you. I think I got it off you guys. Someone gave it to me. The Indians under, Cleveland under. Mm-hmm. So I went up there and I said, and they said no, 2,000. And Chris came out and said, Chris, you let me bet 5 on all the other football ones, and having that relationship. And, me giving them tons of good press also helps. But I only give them a good press because they deserve it, not because they're giving me a bet. Anyway, that's just situational. Yeah, so it is nice to have those relationships with sports books and develop that with your bookmaker. But if you're a winning player, they're not going to care at the end. They're protecting their company.
We're coming back. We'll recap all our bets and more with Crack on the other side. Numbers game right here at VSiN. I won't go through any more tweets, but I just want to read this one because I probably, it's my fault for not going back. For those who are just tuning in, just call me Skip. Please explain what this kid is doing wrong. What did he circumvent? He placed a bet and it was accepted. What are the rules he broke? So what he did was something called structuring. Structuring is the act of parceling, what would otherwise be a large bet into a series of smaller bets in order to avoid scrutiny by regulators, law enforcement, what have you. And he does that by jamming kiosks. So in other words, if he went to the counter, right? Let's say he went to the counter, he made one bet. They would tell you, let's say you wanted to bet a certain amount of money. If it exceeded their limit, they would tell you that and you would be held to that limit. But by going to kiosks and jamming those kiosks, or by crossing state lines and doing it somewhere else, you are circumventing those limits. So he was doing all those things. Steve Fezzik has much to say about this, and Steve Fezzik, who's on the show tomorrow, he is angry tweeting here. He says, even if someone is illegally structuring, this is Steve Fezzik, the casino would still have to pay. It does not void the betting contract. There is legal precedent on this. It is not illegal to bet over $10,000. Let's discuss when I come on tomorrow. You guys are saying clearly structured. It's very unclear, he says.
Really?
Let's discuss. I don't think he was guilty of structuring to circumvent the 10K rule. Let's discuss. He keeps saying, let's discuss.
How can he not be? You went over $10,000. That's, without showing ID.
Steve continues. He says it's the casino's job to track the patrons, not the patron's
That's
job.
true.
And we all know if this guy just been randomly betting at those kiosks, he was betting 5 times as much as betting 50,000. Shocker, the casino would have no problem with it. I guess he means if he lost. And they just ignore the structuring thing, blatantly breaking the law. The casino breaking the law. I've seen it happen all the time.
Oh, no, he's bottom line, he's correct there, what he said, for sure. But I'll be interested to listen tomorrow morning myself.
Yeah, but that, again, I'll go back and I'll make this point one last time. This is what the issue is, right? Every jurisdiction seems to handle it differently. There is none, and every sports book has different rules to whatever they're doing. And here's the thing, when it's vague, it usually should go to the bettor. Tie goes to the runner in these situations. That's how Nevada typically has handled it. By the way, update on Kelly's bet on Sami Valimaki. Tied for the lead in the first round through 14. Valimaki is 5 under through 14. He's tied with Rico Hoy and Adam Svensson, both at 5 under. Of course, there's a bunch of golfers that have yet to tee off, so it's a long way to go. But so far, so good on Kelly's 80-1 on Valimaki. Let's go. Let's get it home.
Since we're go ahead.
Let me do the best bets real quick. We'll get to your final thoughts here.
I'll be back next week.
G-Bank. G-Bank best bets of the day, the official bank of VSiN. I am on Alina Svitolina today against Arina Sabalenka at plus 171. She's about plus 150-ish right about now. Last I looked, by the way, Iga got destroyed by Coco. Maybe it's time we talk about the off-the-court stuff. Maybe it's time. Padres 25-1. May most wins. Pistons tonight minus 1.5, staving off elimination against the Knicks. Those are my plays today. Alina Svitolina coming up here momentarily against Sabalenka. And then on Drew's recommendation, I took American Promise at 16-1, but guess what? Once I'm on a horse, it's dead on arrival. So I don't even know if American Promise is going to go. Could be a scratch before this even happens, we're learning. We shall see. Kelly, Clippers tonight, first half bet. He's laying the 4 in the first half against the Nuggets. And then he's taking the Dubs tomorrow night, minus 4.5, as the Warriors try to eliminate the Rockets in a 7-2 out west. So Clippers minus the points first half tonight from Kelly. Warriors full game minus the points tomorrow night. Then, of course, came in to the show, Mr. Michael Somich. He's on both unders tonight in the NBA. Nuggets Clippers unders 212.5. Knicks Pistons under 213.5. And then in hockey, 3 plays on teams trying to stave off elimination. Wild plus 140 against the Golden Knights. Kings plus 140 against the Oilers. Avalanche minus 1.5 goals against the Stars. Stars up 3-2. All the hardos love the Avalanche in that series. Stars on the brink of eliminating them. And then the horse that he loves is Sovereignty out of the 18 post position. Sovereignty from Michael Somich, who was kind enough to join us on the show today. G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. All of our best bets. Oh, by the way, Zach Cohen, I forgot. Pistons tonight, money line from Zach. Rockets plus the points. He's Oppo Kelly tomorrow night. So Zach and Kelly going head-to-head on that one. G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN, upping the ante with up to a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening receive a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSiN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
So it's funny because Chris Felica texted us and he said, The biggest mush horse bettor I know also loves sovereignty. He's DOA. So yeah, that's done.
He said the same thing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Another Jonah giving out stuff.
So somebody who is the biggest horse mush bettor he knows is
Jonah
on sovereignty.
The guy, whoever it is. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. But so listen. Since we're burying Caesars, they own a racetrack in Florida. Boy, I tell you, it used to be called the Isle at Pompano. I don't know if it's still called that. I've been there many times. They had a good poker room years ago. I don't think they have live racing anymore, but I used to go every summer with my man, the great Howie Schwab, who's died over a year ago. I can't believe it's been over a year. But so I went a couple times. I went with Howie once. I went to Gulfstream with Howie. He had some good times. But anyway, that is, I believe, they bought it after. Obviously, they bought out whoever the casino owner was. Caesars owns it now. So a buddy of mine that lives down there said, they have a senior day, 55 and older. It's on Wednesdays. I think it was on Wednesdays, where they give all the seniors a free hot dog, and they have a drawing. They give away $200 every 15 minutes for 4 hours. So in other words, 16 drawings. And I like the way they do it. If no one shows up for that drawing, they roll it over till the next one, 200, 400, 800, whatever it may be. And he said something happened over the last week that he's upset about, and he wanted me to talk about it. I said, I will talk about it. You're a free hot dog. We don't want to mess with that. So the guy doesn't get the hot dog anymore. You have to get 1 point of the slot machine. So no more hot dogs for seniors. Secondly, the more important thing, the $200 that they give away every 15 minutes when it rolls over and someone wins, well, now nobody won it. So it rolled over to like $1,400. And the end of the day, the end of the 4 hours, they called a name. No one claimed it. They just closed up shop. Guy closes the computer and walked away. The people went crazy, the seniors. So you have a couple hundred people waiting there for this drawing because it rolled over. And Caesars just said, we're not giving it away. Maybe it's a state law. Maybe it's not. That's terrible, though. You have all these people. Now what you do, you're alienating your crowd of gamblers that go there. Now they're going to go 5 minutes away. There's another casino 5 minutes away. I've been there.
Kelly in my ear telling me Isles now. Harrah's Pompano Beach.
Oh, it is? See, yeah. Okay. Harrah's Pompano Beach. Okay, so they changed it to the Caesars brand. But there's another one, Coconut Creek it's called. It's just like 10 minutes away. Like, they're alienating their crowd over such small money. It's just so small thinking sometimes. Again, people making decisions that work for these factories without any pulse of the casino floor because they don't gamble, but they're making decisions for people that do gamble. They don't realize you can aggravate people, you can upset people, alienate people. One person tells another one, maybe that group of 200 tells all their people, there's all retirees down there. What happened there? Now for $1,400, you have alienated an entire group of people because there's other casinos. If there was no other casinos, they'd have no choice. There's casinos all over South Florida breaking everybody. So it's just another thing that Caesars here. I tell you, it's just such small ball thinking they're saving $1,400. Give the money away. Give the money away. The people come there from the drawing. You're earning money off the drawing. Now you're doing the exact opposite. So that's just something I wanted to bring up.
A lot of this is short-term thinking, right?
Short-term.
Yeah.
When I say small ball. Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying because there's a longer-term cost for a small victory.
Yeah.
In many of these cases.
No, there is.
As we've witnessed with some around.
You have anything else to say?
No, please go ahead.
Oh, thanks.
Please,
Sorry.
it's your show.
No, it's your show. Here I am pointing out. You have anything else to say? I'll put you in the trunk.
No, what else?
I'm sure everybody listening has or had people in their life like this, a friend or family member that you can hang out with, have a good time. They're good people, but you just can't do anything financially with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like every penny's going to go for their vice. And obviously with me, it's gambling. I just have had so many people that have let me down over such small money, some big money too. You just can't do anything with them for gambling money. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to finish with that. I'm aggravated at somebody. He doesn't listen, but
honor is no longer a big thing with some folks.
You just can't. I buy him dinners. I don't care about anything, and he's a good guy, but you can't do anything financially. He'll mess it up. He'll rob the money in the end. So anyway,
Bill, I like a salty Bill Krackomberger. I like that. We've done all we can do. Money moves with Stormy and JVT on the other side. Enjoy from VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.